Hello neighbor, I am excited to see you here tonight. I'm just gathering up my supplies. It'll take me just a couple minutes. I was at a demo stamp and share event today. That was amazing. But being as I just got home, I am still settling in to bring you tonight's Stampin' Sunday video. So before we get started, I have a few things. Actually, I'll show you all the cool things at the end. So this is the card that we'll be working on tonight. This is a really fun card. So it opens, it kind of opens double. And this is what we're working on tonight. So if you're going to stamp along with me, you're going to want some colored cardstock. You're going to want some white cardstock, a little bit of DSP, your Honeybee Home stamp set, and dies. So I am just gathering up my supplies and we will get started in just a few moments. We're gonna need some Mossy Meadow cardstock, a bit of white cardstock. Now this is Whisper White, but now we have basic white. We're also gonna need some Mossy Meadow ink. We'll need some pale papaya ink, we'll need cinnamon cider, and some Memento Tuxedo Black. Now, if you don't have these colors, you can substitute for whatever colors that you do have. Let me grab my stamp set and dies. I have so much to show you at the end of tonight's video. So you will definitely want to stick around for that. Okay, the other thing that I did use on this card. All right, so we used Honeybee Home and the Honeybee Blooms dies. We also used one stamp from the Garden Greenhouse. So if you have another stamp set with a little bit of leaves, or if you want to swap them out, and you could make this little image here in green, that would work as well. Okay, and so I am gonna set those up here in the corner. And I am almost ready to get started. I'm so glad you guys could join me tonight. This card is so cool, and I think you're going to be surprised how easy it is to put together. And it just adds a little something special. So I need one more thing that I think I put somewhere else. Oh, right here. Okay, so we're gonna start with our Mossy Meadow cardstock. So tonight's Stampin' Sunday video features the Honeybee Home stamp set. It features the hand-penned designer series paper, and this paper here in the middle is a paper that we're going to make. Now, if you joined me for last week's Stampin' Sunday video, we already made this paper using the Smackdown technique, but I am going to show you again how we did that. So for tonight, we're going to take our Mossy Meadow cardstock and we are going to pull out a sheet. If you are signed up for my email list, you'll also receive all the measurements this week to this card when I send them out. So I usually send out the measurements by Wednesday. That's my goal, is each week to send them out by Wednesday. So this is our piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, just a standard size. And we are going to cut it here along the long side at 5.5. And we are going to turn this Mossy Meadow to the side. And we are going to score it at 4.25. I hope that you all had a wonderful day today. I have had a fantastic weekend of stamping, and I am so excited about the things I have to share with you in the next couple weeks. All right, so we're going to fold this in half, and I had to grab out my little tool bucket because I have not unpacked it yet. Whoops. We're going to press this here with our bone folder. Now, the next step is really cool. So, we are going to cut our card 1.25 inches from either side on the front up to the score line. So my Stampin' Up trimmer, the measurement is right here for 1.25. So I can slide that in there, bring my cutting blade down, and I am going to stop right when I get to that score line. And then I can move that blade up to the top. I'm going to turn it around and score down to the score line. Cut down to the score line, I should say, not score. Okay, so now we have our piece of Mossy Meadow, and it's got these 3 flaps on the front. Okay, next we're going to take our pieces of white. And if you don't have Whisper White left, then you'll be using basic white, because that's what the color is now. And we're gonna put it in here, and we need 3 pieces. So we need 2 pieces that are 1 1/8 by 4 1/8. So we're gonna cut 4 1/8 first, and we can set this white aside. Now we're going to turn this piece to the side, and we're going to cut it at 1 1/8 right here, and then we'll cut it at 1 1/8 again right here. Those are those 2 pieces. Now we need a piece that is 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. So since we already know this is 4 1/8, we can put this one at 2 7/8. Now these measurements are in 8ths because the border that we're putting around our card right here, we want it to be just a tiny border. So any shape that we make inside here, we're going to measure in 8ths instead of our usual quarters. Okay, so here are our 3 pieces that will go on the inside. And I wanted to show you that Smackdown technique one more time, because I know that it's easy sometimes to remember the name of the thing, but other times it is not. So I'm going to use my Stamparatus, and I'm going to try and find a clean sheet here, or there we go. I keep a lot of sheets in mine. I'm not sure why. That just seems to be the way I work. So I have lots of little extra sheets of paper. Sometimes I use them to take notes. So, all right. So here is my Stamparatus. Now, I'm only stamping on here because I could be stamping on my Stampin' Pierce mat or any other surface with a little bit of foam, but my stamps are photopolymer. No, they're not. I'm wrong. One set is photopolymer and one set is red rubber stamps. So with these red rubber stamps, you don't actually need this foam mat inside here. We'll take it out later when we do our more defined images. But for this part, we don't really need it. But I'm using it anyway. Let me grab a block. All right, so tonight I'm going to use blocks. Let's see. I have block I, that's the tall one here. And first I'm going to use block D. So this is a fairly common size. It's about the size of a paper pumpkin block. And those would work too if they're what you have. So we're going to start with the lighter colors and work our way to a little bit bolder ones. So we'll start with our pale papaya. See, I'm trying to make sure that you can see what I'm doing. And we're going to start with this little stamp here with all the little flowers on it. So I'm just going to stick this on my block, and in this case it doesn't matter where I stick it on the block because of the technique that I'm going to use. So then we're going to open up our pale papaya ink and set it right here. And I don't usually stamp on my trimmer, but I noticed tonight that I only have so much space on the camera. All right, so we're going to tap it up good. And now here comes the part where is the Smackdown technique. So we're going to stamp it down, and then we're going to stamp around that stamp just a little bunch of times. And we're going to get some more ink, and we're going to stamp it down and then stamp around. We're going to get some more ink, stamp it down, and stamp around. And I think maybe we'll put one more kind of up here in the corner, and we'll stamp around there. All right, and there is our first color. I'm going to take my Simply Chamois and clean my stamp off right away. And I'm going to pop that one right back in the case. Okay, and next we will do our little bee. And I'm using Cinnamon Cider. Now, Cinnamon Cider is a color that is only available until the new catalog goes live on May 3rd. So after Tuesday, you won't be able to order Cinnamon Cider anymore. It's one of our in colors that's on the last chance list. Okay, but you could definitely swap it out for a different color if you wanted to be. You could make a brown bee, a soft suede bee, whatever color bee you would like to have. All right, so I'm gonna put a bee. Where am I gonna put a bee? I'm going to put it right here, and then I'm going to stamp around. I'm going to put another bee over here, and I'm going to stamp around. And then I'm going to put a bee down here and stamp around. Now you can put them wherever you want them to be. This is not an exact science, and it's totally up to you how you want it to look and how you want it to turn out. There are lots of different options. Here is these are the ones I did before, how they turned out, and I just haven't used them yet, but I'm still planning to. They will be something wonderful eventually. Hi, Tina. I see that you're on there. I think I saw Kathy. I think I saw Jennifer. I hope you guys are all doing really good tonight. I'm excited to be here stamping with you. Okay, now on the one that we made last week, we used these little grassy leaves from the garden greenhouse. I think that this time I am going to try this and see how it looks in green. I'm not sure exactly what kind of flower or plant that is, but we're going to try it in green and see what happens. I think it's going to be fine. So here's our Mossy Meadow. This is one of my favorite greens, and this is in the neutrals pack. So I accidentally ordered a second one of these, and I'm kind of glad that I did, because this one's a little bit bumpy around the edges, and I don't know what I did to it. Hi, Anne. I missed stamping with you yesterday too. I really wish you could have been there. You guys, if you have a chance to go to a stamping retreat, one of the one-day retreats, I'm hoping someday I can have one of my own, but they're amazing. It's so much fun to sit around with other people and craft and create. And a lot of the work is done ahead of time for you, so that makes it so nice. You can get a lot done, and I will show you what I was able to finish off while I was there. It was pretty amazing to me. Because sometimes I go and I just can't get enough done. But the retreats are really nice because there's so much prepared for you ahead of time that you almost can't help but get a lot done. And there are lots of little gifts and fun things. I really wish you could have been there. I wish you guys all could have been there. It was so much fun. Okay, and let's do some little green up here. I'm trying to keep these a little smaller because this is kind of a big image. All right, so we've got a lot of green in there. Maybe we need a little more right here on the side. And then maybe just a little bit right here. Okay, so here is our piece of paper that we've stamped. And now you can, if you want to, stamp a whole sheet like this and then cut it up and use it when you need it. Or if you're making a whole bunch of cards, you could make it all at once. You just want to make sure that you're stamping all over. You don't really want a definite pattern, just kind of it's just kind of fun to make it up as you go. Okay, so there is our piece of paper. Now we need a piece of paper for the inside of our card. Because our cardstock is dark, you could get a bright pen and write on here, but really I like best to put a white piece on the inside. So we're going to take our white cardstock and we'll measure a piece that's 4 by 5 1/4. So there is that. And then for the inside, let's do just a little bit of stamping on that piece. So on my original one, I stamped a little bee in each corner. So I think what we'll do this time, let's see, should we make it the same or should it be a little different? I really like that technique, and it's called the Smackdown Technique. And I did try it. Let's see. Nope, I thought I had done more cards than that, but I think that's the only one I've made recently using that. So it's kind of like the one sheet wonder technique where you stamp all around, but I like the effect that it gives stamping around without grabbing more ink. It's kind of it kind of layers it a little bit. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna go back here to my cinnamon cider and I'm gonna add a little bee in each corner. I should have done that while I had my bee out, but I didn't. So now it's time. Okay, I'm gonna put this little bee in here now. And we'll put one little bee over here. And I'll clean that off. And we have 3 little bees in this set, so it's kind of nice to use up more than one little bee. Let's see. And we'll grab this bee over here that goes the other direction. And we'll stamp that one up here in the top corner. And you'll notice I'm using my Stamparatus, but I am not really using it. Sometimes it's just a nice surface to stamp on. It's a little bit smaller than my big stamping mat that I have. And I love that it has little measurements so I can measure and line things up when I need to. I'm not doing a good job of that right now, but I do have the option to do it, which is helpful. All right, so there's the inside of our card. And then I'm gonna take, I have some Mossy Meadow here. And I have one of these little sponge daubers. Now, if you don't have these little sponge daubers, you are missing out because they're really cool. So we're just gonna sponge a little bit around this bee here in the corner, and we'll sponge a little bit around this one. You can use a blending brush to do this, sponge daubers. I think those are the main tools right now, or just a sponge if you have one. If you have some of our old yellow sponges, those work really good. Okay, so there is our sponging, and I tried to save mine. I have a green one, I have a purple one, and I try to use them until the sponge starts to fall apart a little bit, which does eventually happen. Okay, so let's see. Let's start putting it together, and then we'll stamp our other image and get it in the way. So this is for the inside of the card. And I'm going to add a little bit of liquid glue around the edges. And I will tell you now that next week is Mother's Day, so I'm not 100% sure that I will be doing a live video. I don't right now have any plans, but I expect something might come up. So if that happens, I will check in during the week sometime, and I will come at you with a coffee and a card. I have so much to share with you, so I will definitely be around. Okay, now for our middle piece, we need to cut our stamped sheet here to the right size. So we need it to be, let's see, I evidently did not write down what it should be, but it should be 2 3/4 by 4. So we will cut our 2 3/4 first, and that actually leaves us with a little extra sheet we could have put on the inside, I think. I'll save that for the next time. And then by 4 1/8, and that part is already cut. Wait, no, that should be 4, not 4 1/8. Oh, I'm gonna get it. Okay, so it ends up being 2 3/4 by 4. Now, I will send that out when I send out this week's email. 2 3/4 by 4. I'm just going to add that in my notes before I continue on. Okay, so this is going to go on top of our piece that was 2 7/8 by 4 1/8. Let's go ahead and put that together. And we're just going to put it right in the center of that. Now I put just enough glue on there that I can kind of slide it around a little before it dries out. That's so pretty. I really like that. Okay, and we are piecing this together. Okay, this is going to go in the center. These are going to go on the side. So next we need our designer series paper. And I used the hand-penned paper. That's one of my current favorites for springtime, although it is on the last chance list as well. So if you don't know, all of our paper is on the last chance list. There's all new paper coming out on Tuesday, and the new paper is beautiful, but if you love the old paper, know that you will probably not be able to get it anymore. So here is our designer series paper. This is from the hand pen paper. Both sides are really pretty, but I chose this dotty side because it's a little less busy than the other for this paper. So now we're going to cut this one 1 inch by 4 inches. So I am actually going to cut a 2-inch piece and then cut it at 4. Then I'm going to go back and cut my 1-inch pieces. All right, and so now I have 2 1-inch pieces. Now I noticed on my first card, they didn't blend quite as well as I wanted them to. So I'm going to open up my Mossy Meadow and I'm going to sponge it just a little bit all around the edges. So I'm just going to take my little sponge and go around like this. And we're just going to do this real quick to give our edge a little bit of a green twinge. I really like that. And then we'll go around this other piece. And I thought maybe since you weren't at yesterday's event that you'll be there today for the demo Stampin' Share. Now that's the first time I've participated in a demo Stampin' Share, and I really enjoyed it. We had a lot of demonstrators from different teams and different states and different cities. And it was really nice to get together and share ideas. So that's another thing you can participate in if you are a demonstrator. Okay, and now this is a piece of window sheet. And so we are going to cut this piece 5 1/2. Actually, we're going to do a bit less than 5 1/2. Let me see. 5, because I kind of want it to go in between just a hair. Let's do 5 1/4. And it's already cut at 1 1/4. So our piece of window sheet is 1 1/4 by 5 1/4. Oh, I wish you could have had the day off work too. Maybe next time, because I think there's going to be another one. All right, so we're going to attach these 2 pieces together and these 2 pieces together. So I'm going to put a little glue on both of them and try and save myself a step, and hopefully nothing goes wrong. Sometimes when I put glue on too many pieces, I get a little distracted somewhere in the middle and things don't always go together right. But we're going to try it and see. So we're going to turn this over and put the designer series paper right in the center of that piece of white. There's that one. Oop, I bent it up. I hope it's still going to be okay. And I got glue all over my fingers. So hold on, I'm going to have to fix that before we go on, or I'll be glued to everything. All right, there are our side pieces. Okay, so now we've got our side pieces, we've got our centerpiece, we've got our window sheet, and I need to really quick clean my hands, so I'll be right back. Okay, hopefully I got them unsticky enough that we can continue without a problem. Hopefully there's no problems. Okay, so next we're going to turn this over and we're going to glue this on the center flap. All right, so here we go. A little bit of glue around the edges. And this is a little bit too much, so we're going to spread that out just a hair. Oops. We do not want any big globs of glue. We want nice, thin, fine lines. When you're working with the liquid glue, you always want thin, fine lines. All right, and so we are going to put this right in the center of the middle flap. Just like that. Okay, now we need our piece of window sheet. Now remember, this is 5 1/4 by 1 1/4. And on this, we are going to use some of these mini glue dots. So we're going to put 2 on either side. All right, and then we're going to line this right up in the center. We kind of want it to be even with the bottom of our paper there in the center. Okay, and then we're going to stick it down. Okay, and now you can kind of see where we're going with this, because there's our side flaps. They're connected so that they open together, and then the middle one is separate. Okay, so now we're going to turn these over, and we're going to do just a little more with the glue dot. So we're going to put a glue dot on the bottom because the glue dots stick a little better to the window sheet than the other kinds of glue. You can use those, or tear and tape works fairly well. Okay, so here's my new thing of glue dots. I ran out of the first. Okay, so we're going to stick a glue dot on the bottom here. Oh, that glue dot did not work. Must have lost its sticky somewhere along the line. Okay, there's our glue dots, and then along the top we're going to use our same liquid glue like we used before. So we're just going to go a little bit around. Whoop. My one finger might still be just a tiny bit sticky, and a little bit around this side. I hope you guys stick around to the end, or if you're watching this later, you can skip ahead to the end, because I have a lot of cool stuff to show you. I don't want you to miss it. All right, and we're going to stick this down. And I know that I am kind of a slow stamper. So if you are stamping along and you're faster than I am, you may want to go over and watch me on YouTube, because I know that over there you can speed up or slow down videos so that you will get the right speed for you, which is kind of nice. All right, so here is our card. Isn't that so cool, you guys? Okay, now I have already die cut out of Mossy Meadow some little green leaves. And I think maybe we'll put, I think we could probably fit, well, I don't know if we need to or not. Let's just put one on. Let's don't get carried away, right? And then I just want to show you all the options here. So these are for the little bees. This is for that that one flower. Oh, here it is. I'm not sure exactly what kind of flower that is. So if you know, then I would appreciate your telling me. If not, that's okay too. And I think this is a honeysuckle. At least I'm pretty sure. And that one, this cuts out. So this little set of flowers has a cutout. And then these two are completely different. So they both turn out really pretty. However, they're not what we're going to use today. So let's pull out this one. That's the one we're going to use. And let me get a piece of white to stamp on. And we're going to use our Tuxedo Black, the Memento ink. And we're going to be really careful when we color, because this is fast drying, but it's not 100%, I don't know what you want to call it, but it sometimes will moosh in when you're coloring. That's the technical term, moosh in. Just because I can't think of anything else. Okay, so here's our block eye. We're going to press that down. Woo! We're going to not make a mess when we open our ink. I'm just going to rinse my hand real quick on my chamois because I don't want to get that ink everywhere. I've come to a point where I don't mind if my hands are all inky, but if they get all my stuff inky, then I do mind. Okay, so there's that. And we're going to ink up our stamp by tap, 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 tapping. All right, there we go. And we're just going to stamp this down kind of in the center. Perfect. We can stamp off. I always stamp off a little bit before I clean my black stamps, just because my chamois is already coated on this side in black ink. It will still clean your stamps just fine. However, I try not to put any more ink on it than I need to. And it's kind of a quick thing to just stamp off on the paper. All right, so I'm going to put that stamp back away. And we are going to get to coloring our image. So we're going to take our pale papaya and squeeze it in the center. And when we open it up, it leaves this pretty little ink splotch right here. So what you want to do is grab your blender pen and pick up a little bit of that ink, and we're going to color each flower, making sure that we move kind of quickly so that we don't damage our paper, because we just used our basic white paper tonight and it's not meant for a lot of heavy-duty coloring. So we really don't want to go over the same spot too many times, but we do want to be able to add a little depth to it later. So this time we're just doing kind of a fine layer of color. I wasn't sure at first if I would like this pale papaya, but it's really growing on me. And it's a nice spring color. So we just keep picking up little bits, picking up little bits of ink, and we add little bits at a time. Until our flower is colored. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to add a little bit more along the edges and where I think the flower might have a little shadow or might be a little bit darker. And that just gives it a little bit of depth. I am not a professional colorer by any means, but I like it to look like it has a little more shape to it than it's just plain colored. I'd love to take a class sometime on light and shadow and try to figure out the way it works, but I just haven't had quite enough time for all of that yet. All right, now we can scrub it on here to get all that ink off, and we'll move on to our next color. So we're gonna add a little bit of cinnamon cider. So we just squeeze it in the middle and pop it open, and there's our little ink splotch. And we can pick up a little bit of that cinnamon cider and just add it in a little bit here and there. I like it to be kind of in the center of my flower a little bit. Okay, so there are those. And then maybe we'll put a little bit along the edges of this one, just to pull that color in. There we go. And then we'll color our leaves with some Mossy Meadow the same way. And I'm going to go along the edge of my stem too, so that it looks like there's a little bit of that green in there. Just because I like how that looks. Got a couple more little leaves up here. Okay, and then we can go along the edge of our stem there. Just to make it look a little more green. Okay. And I have to be honest, this is probably my favorite way to color. You can, I know a lot of people use the blender pens, not blender pens, why can't I think what they're called right now? There are people who use the markers. There are people who prefer the Stampin' Blends, the alcohol markers. I do like those too, but this is still one of my most favorite ways to color. Now tonight we are going to use the mini Stampin' Cut Emboss machine to cut our things out. I just got this and it's so great to have on your table because it's small and yet it can still cut out so many things. So the first time I used it to cut something out, I used this standard plate with it. This comes with it, a standard plate. Let's see. It comes with a standard plate, an embossing folder, a 3D embossing folder plate, and a regular embossing plate. But I have found with mine that so far to use my dies, all I need is the regular embossing plate and my 2 clear plates, my number 2 plates. So you put your plates on this side, and I so far have always cut on the bottom plate and I save the other plate to go on the top. I don't know in the long run if that's going to make a difference or not. That's just the way that I've done it so far. All right, now we're going to put our image on there. And next we're going to put our die over the top and we're going to line it up the best we can. Hopefully my head's not blocking your view. I have to get a little bit close to see what I'm doing. And now our clear plate is going to go on top. And when I put it down, I put the inside first, and then I try to lay it very gently over the top so that that plate doesn't scooch. And then I hold them together and push it in until this little handle starts to turn. And then I can wheel it through. If you have found a process for you that works better than that, then I say go with that. But this is what I found works the best for me so far. All right, so then we can take our cut out, and it's lined up pretty well. So I'm going to set that to the side. Put my little scraps to the side, and I'm going to put my die back right away because these little fellas get lost fairly easy. I feel like everything gets lost fairly easy if you don't put it back right away. So you might have heard me say that before, and I might say it again. But I have lost many a thing here and there because I didn't put it right away. So take it for what it's worth, I guess. All right, and now we're going to need our stamparatus back here for a few moments. And we need to stamp a sentiment for the front of our card. And I have, let's see, oh, I thought that was a blank piece, but it's not. I have a piece right here of white. And let's stamp, let's see. On this one, I stamped "You're the Nicest." So let's do, let's see, how about "Miss You"? Because that is a good sentiment. All right, so I put my block where? Over here. All right, when I line up my words, I like to line them up along one of the lines on my grid paper. And then when I put my block over the top, I like to line the edge up with a line below. And I find that helps me stamp a little bit straighter. So if you're having trouble getting a straight image, then you might want to try. Just give it a try and see how it goes. All right, and we are going to ink this up with our Memento black ink. And I'm going to move it over here because I feel like it's a little more steady there than what it is on my trimmer. I probably shouldn't be inking things up on my trimmer anyway. If I were wise, I wouldn't be doing that. All right, and we're gonna stamp. I'm gonna stamp kind of down here because I think I'm gonna make my piece a little bit smaller. Before I attach it to my card. All right, so there we have that. And I'm gonna cut this so that it'll fit a little bit nicer on my card. Let's cut it to 2 inches. And then I'm gonna turn it sideways. Let's see. And I'm gonna cut it at 1 1/8. Now I'm just gonna toss that little leftover piece out. Okay, so here's my little honeycomb, and I'm gonna put my Stampin' Dimensionals right along this side here so that I can attach that when I find my Stampin' Dimensionals. I really have not put everything back in its place yet. I should have done that, but I didn't want to be late getting to show you all what I have to show you. All right, so here are, let's see, I'm going to make sure I'm putting them on the right side. Our Stampin' Dimensionals, and we're just going to stick those on this side, and I'm only going to put on 2. And we're going to put that just like this. Okay, so there we have that. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this one because I'm going to leave this one flat. Now, usually I wouldn't do this over my plate, but tonight I am. All right, and we are going to put this right over here. And I just want to make sure that when I stick this on, it doesn't stick over the edge, because I don't want to have to cut it for it to fit in its envelope. So that's there. And then we have our little sentiment. And I think what we're going to do with this one is give it a fussy cut. So we're going to start here. And we're just going to cut around. And we'll make it a nice little shape. And if this is your first time watching, you should always turn your paper, not your scissors, when you're cutting. You'll get a much smoother cut. All right, so here's our little sentiment. And what I am going to do with this is put a little spongy color around the edges of this too. But I think what I want is pale papaya, and since I do not have any more little sponge daubers, I'm going to use this old sponge that I still have laying around. We used to have these, and they've been discontinued for a while, because now there's the sponge daubers, and there are blending brushes. So there are different tools now for this sort of look. All right, so here we go. And I like the way that softens the edge of our Miss You. Okay, so what we are going to do is grab our little Stampin' Dimensionals, and we're going to pop that up. So here we go. And there is our card for tonight. So if you want to make this card, you can always contact me, and I will send you the measurements. However, if you sign up for my email list, I send out directions every week for either the Stampin' Sunday card or a coffee in a card. So far, I think I've sent one out every week since I started. So if you sign up for my email list, you will be all set, and you will receive every week directions for a card. And if you don't have the supplies that I use, you can substitute with anything that you have and make it. And if you post it on my Facebook page or in my Alicia's Stampin' Academy Facebook group, that would be wonderful, because then other people can be inspired from you too. All right, so here is our card for the week. And then really quick, I wanted to show you some of the things that I either made or got this weekend at the Stampin' Retreat, Spring Retreat. So let me clean this off, and I will grab some things real fast to show you, because we got some really cool stuff at our retreat. Let's see. I'm trying to hurry you guys and put my stuff away. I'm not very fast. All right, so I'm going to scoot all of this stuff out of the way. I have a lot of making to do this week, so look forward to lots and lots of pictures coming up. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you that I got at the retreat, and this is really cool. Look at this bag. Can you see? This is a really big bag, and it's very cool. I was able to bring home all of my goodies in this bag. And I also got, I'll show you, this really cute little nameplate while I was there. That was super cute. Oops. The theme of this retreat was home and garden. So if you get a chance to go to a retreat, you should go. It was so much fun. All right, I got some little garden gloves. I got this little tag I think was on my Honeybee creative cup. I got a cup, like a travel cup that's upstairs. I had to wash it already because I used it. I got this cute little turtle, and he was filled with M&Ms, but I ate all those. And it had this cute little tag, "May good things grow all year long." That's from the Home and Garden bundle. That was so cute. And I got this little pouch, bag, box. I don't know what to call it exactly. And inside here were all the little twines that I got. Those are super cute. I can't tell you exactly what the colors are because I don't know, but they're super cute. I also got this super cute little package. Now this little gnome was made out of punches. So this is a leaf from the strawberry punch, and there's a triangle from the ice cream punch. So you can do a lot of really cool things with punches. And inside here was some really pretty soft succulent ribbon on a piece of card. And now I haven't completed this project yet, but it's really cute. We got these little wooden blocks and these letters that when you put it together, it spells home or love or hope. So be watching for me to put that together. That's coming soon. And then I just wanted to show you my make and take cards from the weekend. So pretty soon I'll be making cards similar to this, and I'll be showing you how to do this. It's so cool. All right, so here is the first one. Hope your day is just right. And this stamp set is from the Garden Greenhouse. That's one of my current favorite stamp sets. This one says, "Thanks for helping me grow." Isn't that cute? This one is "Celebrate Birthday Wishes." And that's kind of a fun pull card. This was another one that says, "Thanks for helping me grow." This little set with the ladder and the shovels is so cute. And I stamped the inside of mine with a little shovel, because I feel like the shovel makes the card. Here is "A friendship nurtured in love blooms forever." Now these are in the plants paper, and I had to cut them out myself. This paper is another paper that's on the last chance list, and so it's only available until tomorrow. If you want any of the current designer series papers, you have got to order them by tomorrow. This one, and some of them are sold out already, so if you haven't got them, you may not be able to. This one is really cute. It says play ball, you're out of this league. And the dies for this one actually cut this out for you, so you don't have to cut that out. You can use your die cutting machine to cut those. And the same is true with this one. Isn't this cute, you guys? To the man who can do anything. So we've got the ladder cut out, we've got a shovel, a rake, and these, if you can see these little guys back here, this little wood shelf is a die cut. It embosses and cuts out, and then the little hooks are a die cut too. Aren't they so cute? All right, so there's that. And then this one, this might be one of my favorites. This one says, each day is a new beginning. And I love that, because who doesn't need a new beginning? I don't know. I do. So every day can be a new beginning. I just love the idea of that. Okay, thank you for joining me tonight. I'm Alicia Dolan here at Creating in My Corner. If you want to receive the PDF for this week's card, make sure that you sign up for my email, and then I'll also send you information about upcoming events and specials, and maybe one of these days I will plan ahead and send you what project we're going to be working on the next week, so that you're prepared to stamp right along with me. And if you missed any of my previous videos, you can go over to YouTube and you can watch them there. You can like them, share them, subscribe to my channel. I appreciate all those things, and I hope that I will see you again soon. Happy stamping, friends. I'll see you later.